to work at 7:13. Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To flag United States of America, republic which stands nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Consideration of the meeting minutes of the special meeting minutes of April 25th. I'll make that motion. Second.
I'll second it.
Are there any additions or deletions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. The next thing was the consideration of the capital equipment for the Bethel Volunteer Fire Department. Hopefully Chris McCollum will be coming through the door in the next couple of minutes with all the information. Basically, it was, if you remember some of the conversation from before, he wants to replace the Hearst tool with the E-Hearst. Is that right?
I think he was looking to add 3 hydraulic rams to complement the Hearst equipment that he has. He has a full set of hydraulic Hearst equipment, and then he has a partial set of hydraulics. The part he's missing is the rams. So he wanted to get the 3 rams, I believe, and that would bring him up to speed with the same equipment that they have in Stony Hill as far as Hearst equipment. That's my-
Hey, I got a question about the Hearst equipment, not really knowing that much about it. But as we start seeing a lot of new electric cars coming around, especially in town, the Hearst tools interact friendly with EVs. Have we been trained? Is the state or there training programs for dealing with EVs?
To the best of my knowledge, there are some. They're starting to get some more in-depth training for extrication with electric vehicles. The biggest concern obviously is cutting into the high voltage lines.
Yeah, these days the biggest concern is the fire you're not going to be able to put out.
Right. Well, yeah. No, I'm talking from a standpoint of
Yeah.
extrication. not
Right.
fire.
So every auto manufacturer provides first responder guides. It's a lot to read from every manufacturer, but Toyota tends to lead, and I think it's probably something we need to start to look into before we have a situation. So I was just curious the way they interacted, if, aside from the high voltage wires, and what happens when, you insert the wedge and it just blows apart a door. So.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is with the electronics, obviously cutting into those.
Yeah, the high voltage cables, whereas
Those-
everyone, they're running through the doors and through the roofs now.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I know there's a
Put you on the
lot of
spot, by
apps
the
that are
way.
available on cell phones for the first responders.
Peter
they
was
can
asking
pull
about
up and
have you
it shows,
received
wiring
training
diagrams and
information
everything.
on the-
Okay,
Cool. Where to
Now.
not and where to cut.
Well,
good. Okay,
we were
cool.
just talking. We
I
just
would
spoke
imagine that Hearst would
about cutting
provide
into
some
cars. We
training.
looked into where we're gonna also
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
fire.
most of the training classes
We
come
looked into where we're gonna
from
get the training, but we haven't had.
some of
any
the
official training
manufacturers, the
yet.
electrical auto manufacturers.
Cause we're gonna have to have.
Yep.
But
Yep.
It's limited at this time, but getting better.
It's not that limited. It's out there. I mean,
Well, I'm speaking, I haven't been active for, 8 years now, so.
right.
It was very
Yeah.
limited when I was the chief. And it's probably
Yep.
come quite a way since then.
Yeah, no,
Chief
it's.
McCollum's here now, he can probably speak better to it than I could.
What's that?
Yeah,
Let
the
me ask
question was just interacting with the Hearst tools and electric vehicles.
Yeah, I was just telling Rich, we've been looking into where we're gonna get training for that, because that's a specialized thing. You gotta be
Yep.
very careful with what you're doing. And that goes along with a fire in an electric vehicle. It's.
Yep. Yeah, no,
In
it's
a
the
big
fire that doesn't go out. New York
That's
City
correct.
has a barge that's been burning for a couple of months now. And what we're finding, it's not car and hearse related is, but whatever, there are fires all over the landfills because people are throwing the little disposable lithiums away.
Right. I mean, it's gotten very bad in New York City with fires.
Yeah,
because of those
yeah.
patterns.
They just issued a whole new fire code specifically for e-bike batteries, and it's downright scary. If you own more than 3, you have to put up partitions, a battery room, can't charge more than X number at a certain time. It's needed because none of the batteries that are going in these e-bikes or the cheap stuff is regulated.
Yeah, true.
So, but so yeah, no, it was just questions about the Hearst NEVs, but and so the aside for me would be, would probably need to find a training course and fund that thing pretty quick.
Okay, Chris, do you have any literature or costs on those RAM sets that you looking for the first tools?
I thought I turned all that into feet. I can look and see if I have something here for you.
Unfortunately, he isn't here this evening.
Yes. I
If
believe
not, we're
it's-
talking about having another special meeting in 2
it's-
weeks because of.
It should be in minutes of past because we did discuss it the night we were at Bethel Fire. And we discussed the price for them. It just somehow got lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah.
And didn't get sent on.
Well, unfortunately, if we don't have that information, we can't.
This was just the, this was the other presentation, wasn't that? I can text and ask him if we can text me back. Tell me what it is.
And I hate to put it off, but why don't we just wait for the 2 weeks and.
While you guys are talking, let me search back in my emails. I may have it in my email bank.
All right, well, Chris is looking for that information. We could have discussion on what the chairman had mentioned to me about, he was proposing, he had a discussion with the first selectman also about hiring a consultant to come in and look at all the equipment for both departments and all the capital equipment that they were looking for. And actually, and also the operations of both departments. So, what do you think for those, for that issue? Is that something we want to consider or have more discussion about?
So I'm down, but I would just like to fold the equipment part into the town's fleet study, if it ever happens. But operationally, yeah, sure.
Yep, I agree.
You got it.
Well, I just throw it out there. I mean, we did this study was done back when I was chief. I think it was probably, I'm not sure the exact date, it was probably around 2010, 2012, somewhere in that area. There was a complete study done on the fire apparatus needs of the town, and I think we spent several $1,000s. I mean, somewhere near up $30,000 to have it done.
And
we
did
never
we
did it.
implement? Okay,
Nothing
well,
was ever
there you go.
implemented. Nothing was ever implemented.
So I just got off the phone with Matt. He's gonna call in real quick and he wants to be a part of this discussion.
I mean, I don't think it's a horrible idea. I hate to spend the money to do
Right,
something
no,
we've already
I
done
think
once, and we didn't do anything with it the first time.
What I think DJ's fault was he wanted to expand the scope of, and look at everything. The
Well,
buildings. the
that's fine, but
operations.
we
We
should,
did the first time, buildings were included the first time.
we should make sure there's a way of making sure something gets acted on. Some clause somehow that will do it, but the town agrees, or the Department of Finance agrees to look and act.
It was actually.
Because
done in
otherwise, I agree.
2013 was when it was done.
Right. Unless we just want to hire consultants to keep them busy, we should listen and act on, things that we find valuable.
I don't see anything, Chris, on the papers.
I'm looking back here on my email.
Hey, Dion, while you're, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
While you're looking at dates for the following week, Chief Baker is available Wednesday through Saturday the following week.
Okay,
That's what, the 27th or 28th?
so that would be the week of the 25th.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct. So
Okay.
27, 28, 29, or 30.
I'm good, 27, 28.
What about you, Doug?
Both of those are good. 27 is better.
I can do that.
What's that? Wednesday?
The Wednesday, the
Yeah, I
27th,
think the
will that
Wednesday-
work?
the Wednesday seems right
27th?
where we're at. I'll make sure.
Sure.
Okay, then tentatively, let's just make it the 27th.
Is 7
All right,
o'clock
there's
okay
that.
for everybody, or would you like to meet a little earlier?
No, so-
6:30 is better, but 7's
7?
okay.
Fred said 7. Okay, we'll keep it at 7. Hi, Matt. You're muted.
There we go. Hello, hi, everybody. How you doing?
Good.
Hello.
Hello. I understand there was a question about the idea of a study.
Yeah, DJ had mentioned that to me. He's not here this evening, so other than him mentioning he would like to have a survey done, that's all the information he had. He relayed to me. He had mentioned that he had talked to you about it also.
Yeah, that's correct. Let me elaborate a little bit because DJ and I did talk about that, and I back the idea. And I think there has been some confusion or perhaps a misunderstanding over time about the older study we have, which is known as the Holdsworth study. First of all, that is more than 10 years old at this point, but that study was never designed to actually analyze the apparatus and look at the town's plan of development and see if we were purchasing the right units in the future. The purpose of that exercise was simply to find out how much money we need to set aside if we wanted to not have to borrow money in the future to buy apparatuses. So all they did was they took our present inventory at that time. We've actually added a few units since then. And they said, okay, if the average lifespan of a piece of apparatus is 20 years plus or minus, 20 to 25 years, then this unit is X number of years old. So we projected it's going to need to be replaced on such and such a date, and we expect the price to be this. Therefore, if you want to have money set aside, and in public accounting, they call this a sinking fund, you would need to start setting aside X hundreds of thousands of dollars starting now, and then you build up a reserve so you can buy apparatus. But Holdsworth was never asked to analyze, how many multi-story buildings do we have, and how far away are we, and what is the response time? That's, the minimum response time to get a given piece of apparatus to a fire scene. It was strictly a financial exercise. So I think that looking at the apparatuses to make sure we are procuring the ones we need and need in the future in accordance with the town's growth patterns, I think is an important thing to do. So yeah, I did suggest to DJ that I would back such a study if the commission came forward and requested funding for it.
Anybody have questions?
I had suggested that if we're looking at the equipment, that we tie it into a fleet study and look at the whole package, and then operationally for fire is a whole nother thing.
I'm not sure what you mean. A fleet study?
So if we're analyzing the equipment, what we buy, replacement cycles and stuff, that's the same thing that I've proposed we do with police cars and all of the other equipment that the town owns. So I thought if there's a way to combine the two, we get two birds with one stone.
That's not a bad idea at all, and that can be done when we go through the RFQ process. So
Right. I mean, the folks that analyze our fire fleet are probably more than capable of analyzing the rest of our fleet.
Well, what I'd suggested is that because I don't personally know any of these firms, we put out an RFQ, a request for
Yes.
qualifications, and look
Agreed.
at what their specialties are. And from that list, then we put out, we choose,
An RFP.
put out an RFP after that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree that you could even ask for multiple quotes and say, take a look at fire. If they have the right kind of background, say like take a look at fire, police, and highway, do the whole thing.
Yep. Great. Well, then I support it.
Great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Fairfield Fire Department just recently did an analysis on their apparatus replacement. I'm not sure who they used, but it might be worth looking into seeing who they used.
Did you say Fairfield? or-
Fairfield, on the coast, Fairfield. Recently, in the last few years, I think they've done one.
Danbury just did a study too on all their buildings and stuff. It's just in the paper.
Mhm.
They used somebody else. I don't know who they is.
All right,
If we put it out to bid, then both companies will likely respond.
All right, so Matt, from us, you just want a recommendation, we'll make a motion to go out for a RFQ for the fire apparatus.
Correct.
And then if you want to tag the rest of the town vehicles on it, you can do that, all right?
Correct.
Should
Board of
we-
Selectmen can do that. Yep.
Should we just be doing an apparatus study, or should we also include the buildings as part of the study as well?
We can do, that's also something that we could consider, and we don't need to make that decision now. We can look at the RFQs and look at that in total.
And the only reason I mention it, Matt, is because, I know Stony Hill is a relatively newer building, but Bethels building is obviously 50 years old, or a little bit,
More than that.
55 years old. And I know
1966.
space in the apparatus space is starting to become an issue.
Yeah.
Replacing apparatus, we've gotten to the point where we have to build the apparatus to fit the building.
Well, we can include that in the RFQ and pick out firms that have that kind of expertise.
All right,
Because clearly, if they're making recommendations on apparatus in the future, and we don't have, say, just to use a recent example, a ceiling that's high enough to park them, that's going to become a consideration. So that's not inappropriate at all to make that part of the RFQ process.
okay, all right, I'll make a motion that we forward to the Board of Selectmen to go out for a RFQ for the evaluation of the both Bethel and Stony Hill fire equipment and buildings.
Second.
Okay, Doug, second that?
Yep.
Any other discussion on it? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for coming in.
All right, thanks, guys.
Mhm.
Thanks for what you're doing. I appreciate it. You guys have a nice night.
You
Okay.
too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right, Chief McCollum came up with the dollar amount, and it's one large ram and two small
Right,
rams.
Stony Hill currently has a large one, they do not have a small one. Bethel has neither, so what you gentlemen discussed was doing the three, which Bethel would get a large and a small, and Stony Hill would get a small, so that we would both have one complete set of hydraulics.
Oh, okay,
That
so
was-
one of
that was
these
what
would
the
go.
discussion
That was
was
the
about.
discussion in our last
And
meeting.
that,
correct.
actually, that's correct, you brought that up, Frank, you said, well, why don't we just do one complete set for now, and then worry about the rest later.
So the cost on those 3 Rams is,
Is $33,135.
And I'm texting salesman right now to see if that price is still holding,
Yeah, because it was up on
expired.
5/26.
end of May, so I'm asking him right now if it still holds.
so we'll wait a second, see if it gets
See if he
response on
answers
that.
me,
and then,
right.
Not too many people hold prices anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
it was only May though.
typically, everything goes up July 1 in the fire service industry.
Ask him how bad he wants to make the sale.
That's what I've been experiencing since I took over.
Chief, are these strictly small and large Rams? They don't offer a telescoping ram? Like I know the hydraulics, we had a telescoping ram.
The old telescoping rams are now, forget it.
But the hydraulics are, they don't have a
The
telescope?
hydraulics, they come out, but they're not the ones that you and I trained on originally. No, they're not.
So it's strictly a small.
It's a
and
smaller
large.
ram that it does come out somewhat, but it's not the ones that came out in sections and
Right,
like
right. yeah.
really big. Yeah, they don't do those anymore.
Okay.
Nope. It's unfortunate because those were great. Those were great pieces of.
Yeah, it was kind of a fits-all thing.
We
It
used them a
was-
lot. Yeah, we did.
All right, while we're waiting for that, everybody's okay with a special meeting on the 20th,
27th.
it's 27th. I'll make this.
Yes, sir.
Check with,
Yep.
I'll have to check with DJ.
Yeah. All right. And for some reason, there's no need to have a meeting, we'll cancel it, but I think we need to discuss all these other items that are going on.
Sentiment text, we'll see if he answers me.
I just sent DJ a message.
Oh, So,
Well, we'll see if he gives the same answer. We'll check his answer.
Would you like to entertain a chief's report from me as to what's going on at Bethel Fire?
Sure.
Okay, so I can tell you what's going on at Bethel Fire. The doors, there's been 3 quotes for the doors. That's now in the hands of the town engineer, Eric. He is running with that. That's the way Matt wanted it. I said, I have no issue with that at all. I made sure he got the 3 bids, and that's where that's at. All the IT equipment, except for several desktop monitors, is now in. Nick Calano came to the firehouse, met with me 2 weeks ago. There's one more cable that needs to be run by building maintenance. I reminded them of that today, because once that cable is run, Nick can then start issuing fobs, because the fob system is now installed and complete. And the camera system, the interior camera system is installed and is complete. The laptops are going to get issued soon. That's going to be with myself and Nick. And I believe Chief Baker agreed the same thing out in Stony Hill. It'll be Chief Baker and Nick, because they're going to be told the facts of life as to It's town equipment. This is what you use it for. This is only what you use it for, and that Nick can get in 24/7 to monitor what's going on in those computers. So if anything is awry, he has the ability to shut them down. And then he would notify either myself or Chief Baker, depending on what department the issue was with. And the two of us would handle that together and get HR involved if we needed to. The iPads are also in. We're waiting on the mounts to be put in the apparatus so that we can mount the iPads. I had an iPad fail this week, a current iPad. I think I got enough there that I can find that in the current budget. I won't have to come to you guys. It's about, I think it was $300 or $400. I can get it through Nick, which is a better price to replace it. If we can't get it repaired, we're trying to get it repaired. We've already taken it to have the guy look at it. The water line project, all the prices are in except the interior work. I'm on the gentleman on that to get us back that price so that I can hand that over to Eric also. All the exterior prices have been handed over already for that. The last thing was the asphalt. Bob Dibble did come look at that. I think I told you, gentlemen, he said approximately $60,000. When that's done, he wants to dig up in the rear there where it's sinking to find out what the heck is in there that keeps making it sink, because he doesn't want to pave it and then have it sink again, which makes sense to me. And he doesn't want
It's an old firehouse.
Well, yeah, and he doesn't want to pave along the cemetery side until that water line is in and that's been compacted properly in that ditch. It's like, again, he doesn't want that to sink. The tower base side, he's just going to mill off the top. It's in decent shape from the front corner to the back corner. But the back will be a total reclamation, and the cemetery side, the MS side, will be a total reclamation from the street end. We're at over 100 members now. We just started our third firefighter 1 class last night. We have 9 of our own members in it. Stony Hill has 4 members in that class. There is, I believe, 27 members total from our departments and local departments around here in that class being run at Bethel Fire. So that's where we're at. I mean, I'm starting to order equipment in the new budget. Some of it's come in already. We got the ticks in already. We just have to mount them in the trucks. I got some hose in that I ordered on the last budget to try some 2-inch hose because we didn't have any. They wanted to try that between the 1.75 and the 2.5. And like I said, that's basically where we're at right now. I have a bunch of other things ordered. The foam came in today. I ordered that came in, so we have that also. So when we're finally able to empty squad 5 of the bad quote foam, we will put the new green foam in squad 5. Engine 6 has the green foam already. And that will still give us some spare buckets at the firehouse. That's basically it, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris.
Did I miss it, or do you have an update on the portable radios?
Oh, I'm sorry, the portable radios. I spoke with Tom Galliford this past week. The problem with the portable radios was the radios came in, they had no chargers. They now have the chargers and the mics. They had no mics for them. So they're encoding all the radios because we worked out the bugs. Both departments both got a radio to 2 radios to try. We worked out the bugs in them to make sure that they're operating the way we told them we wanted them to operate. And once they get them all encoded, we'll get the radios. The only problem is we're waiting on the truck chargers. We have desktop chargers and the mics for them, but we have no truck chargers. So that's the only thing that is still back ordered.
Was that part of the price?
That was all, everything was included, but it's just, it was back ordered, which wasn't very good for the gentleman selling them to us because we all had a little something to say about, how,
Send us a radio.
how this happened. This is a lot of money the town of Bethel is investing and spending. We need all the equipment. So.
Yeah.
So you've worked out all the programming bugs then? 'Cause that was
yes.
the last I heard, there was a lot of programming.
Yes, and they noted all of them and gave them back the list and told them to fix it. Tommy told them to get them fixed.
All right, what we could do, we could pass this along as the dollar amount we currently have. And if it's something different, we can adjust it at the next meeting.
What did you say it was, 33,000?
33,000.
Right.
I make a motion that we purchase, make a recommendation to purchase the 3 Rams in an amount not to exceed 35,000. That should cover it.
Yeah, I don't think it should be more than that. It shouldn't
All
be.
right,
If
I'll second that.
you look at percentages, it shouldn't be.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on purchase? All those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Anything else to come before the commission this evening?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you on the
Cheers, yeah.
27th.
All right.
27th at 7 PM.
Yeah,
And which firehouse?
It should be,
That'll be here.
here.
okay, because we made an agreement
Oh,
at the last
gotcha.
meeting. We're gonna
Right.
flip flop firehouse.